Hi, my name is Kamrey Ross and I'm 17 years old, and I'm doing this video to see if anybody out there knows of groups or people who can help me with grants and scholarships for college and support groups, because that would help a lot. So if you know of any of these things, just leave some comments and try to help me out. This is my story.
What is Tourette's?
Tourette's is kind of like a neurological dysfunction in your brain that makes you make uncontrollable movements and noises and things of that sort.
How does it make you feel?
To me, it makes me feel kind of proud that I have Tourette's, because I can actually help people. I can help people with other illnesses and other neurological problems and other people with Tourette's, because I have a lot of kids now come to me and ask me how I make it through school and how I make it through just my life in general, and it makes me feel good that I can help people.
Who is affected by Tourette's, and is it contagious?
Anybody can be affected by Tourette's, and it's not contagious. It's not like I'm going to reach out to you and try to shake your hand and then, oh my God, you have Tourette's. It's not like that. Like I said, it's a neurological dysfunction in your brain, and it runs in the family. It's hereditary, and it's more common in guys than it is in girls. Guys are 3 to 4 times more likely to get the, not disease, but the disorder, should I say, than girls are. And you kind of have a 50% chance of getting it from either side of your parents.
How do you deal with it?
I deal with it on a day-to-day basis, really, because, you know, no 2 days are exactly the same. And, I'm sorry, I'm tearing up. No 2 days are exactly the same, because you can go out in public one day and you can be absolutely fine, nobody makes comments at you, and then the next day you go out in public, you have people asking you to shut up, stop making that noise, stop moving, and it's hard. So it's just a day-to-day basis.
What are your tics?
My tics are mainly in my face, as you can see, because I'm kind of doing them now, and I have this noise I make, and I sound like a bird, really, like or a squeaky toy, and I make that, and when I make it, you can see the movement in my throat, and I have a nickname at school with my friends, and sometimes they call me Tweety or they call me Birdie, and it doesn't bother me with them because they're my friends and they're close to me, so I guess it's kind of a well-earned nickname.
What are your best and worst memories about Tourette's?
My best memories are, like I said, getting to help people and experiencing new things and going to camps because of my disability. That's probably the best part about it. And then the worst part is getting made fun of, you know, and then having people say, oh, I wish I had Tourette's so I could get away with cussing and profanity. And that's not what Tourette's is about at all, because less than 10% of people who have Tourette's actually use profanity.
How common is Tourette's?
Tourette's is actually a lot more common than people think, because about 1 out of every 100 kids in the U.S. has Tourette's.
When were you first diagnosed?
I was first diagnosed in the 6th grade, about 5 years ago, but I was showing symptoms before, years before I got diagnosed, maybe in the 1st grade, because I can remember making this noise, and then my family or my mom would be like, Kamrey, you gotta stop making that noise. It's like, okay, I'll stop. And then 5 minutes later, I make the noise again, and I keep doing it. And so after a few years, we decided to go to a doctor to see what that was about, because like I just couldn't control it.
How do you tell people you have Tourette's?
It's hard when I tell people, like when I first meet people, because I don't want them thinking I'm a freak or that I'm weird, because it's hard to tell people, especially people you're close to, because then you think, well, they're not going to accept you. So I tell people, like when I first meet them, I'm like, hey, I'm just letting you know I have Tourette's, I make noises and I can't help it. But I'm Kamrey. I am still Kamrey, and I'm no different from you, except that I'm more special.
What do your friends think, and is it hard to make friends?
It's hard. For me, it's hard to make friends because I'm afraid of what they'll think, but after I get over the barrier of telling them, then it's not so bad. And my friends now, they're great. I mean, they support me 100%. And if they see people making fun of me or just making me feel bad about my Tourette's, they'll intervene and say something. And like kids in my class, I don't even know, got onto this one kid because they made fun of me, and I didn't even know him, and it made me feel really good for the pure fact that I didn't know them.
How do you deal with the people that make fun of you in school or in public if they're rude?
I deal with them the same way I would deal with my friends if they had questions. You know, like if people stare at me, I'll tell them, like, hey, stop staring at me. I can't help this, and it's not like I asked to be like this. So if like, say they had the disorder, I mean, I wouldn't just stare at them because they're doing something weird. I mean, it's hard, but you get through it, and you get used to the stares. Oh gosh, you get used to them.
Who has helped you the most during this journey?
My mom. She has been there 100% of the way, and the research she's done about this is just absolutely amazing, because thanks to her, I know a lot more about this disorder. And it's kind of hard on her because ever since I got diagnosed, she's had to miss tons and tons of work because she has to stay home with me because there's nobody else to stay home with me. So she has definitely been with me through my ups and downs with the whole Tourette's thing.
How has it affected your life?
I would say it's affected my life in a positive way. Definitely a positive way, because I feel that I'm strong enough to handle this disorder and to help people in the future who get diagnosed with this disorder.
How do you help someone if they have Tourette's and they're having an episode?
I help them by, just comforting them. If they have questions, I let them ask questions, or if they just need to talk and vent and get things out, I sit there and listen, and then if I see somebody being rude to somebody with a disability or with Tourette's or anything, just rude in general, it's somebody normal, I mean, I'm going to say something because it's not right, and that's how I help people.
Is there something physically other people can do to help?
Physically, I would say, just like I said, just help them in public. If you see somebody having a down day and they have a disability, just help them. Be there for them.
What's the main cause when you have tics?
Stress. On a stressful day, I tick like no other, like a ticking time bomb, basically. I'm making my bird noise. I'm making my facial expressions, and like now I'm kind of really nervous about this video, but it's just mainly stressful situations that set off my tics, or being sick, like to say I have the flu, that'll make my tick a lot worse, and things like that. Oh gosh, my tics also can turn into seizures because they get so violent and repetitive that they just throw me into the floor and I'll just start seizing out of nowhere, and that definitely sucks.
If you're having a seizure, is there anything people around you can do to help, or is it better just to be left alone until it's over?
The thing that people can do to help when somebody's having a seizure is, like, don't hold them down. You can remove tight clothing around their neck. Like, don't stick anything in their mouth because they can choke on it, and then talk to them. Because if you talk to them, you can bring them out of the seizure faster than you could if, say, you were just standing there, and hold their head, hold their head so they don't crack their skull or anything. Also, my Tourette's comes in a form of dystonia, and that's due to a long-term side effect to a medicine that I'm on, and that's where my throat closes up and I can't breathe, and I have to take Benadryl as fast as I can so that my throat doesn't close all the way up.
What's your favorite thing about Tourette's, and what's your least favorite?
My favorite thing, probably meeting new people. Having Tourette's causes you to meet a lot of new people because they have lots and lots of questions, and educating people. I love educating people about Tourette's. And probably the worst thing is not having control of your own body is the worst thing for me, because I can just be, like, for instance, I was washing the dishes, and this is actually a funny story. I was washing the dishes, and I had a glass cup in my hand, and all of a sudden it went flying across the room because I had a tick, and it shattered against the wall. And due to that, I've broken at least 3 plates, 2 cups, and a bowl. So now we have to go to plasticware. And then having people say, well, I would use it to get away with things like cussing and hitting people, and that's just not cool because it makes me so mad. Oh my gosh, it makes me mad. And then not being able to drive yourself really stinks, because you don't want to be sitting behind a car and all of a sudden you have a tick and then you run somebody off the road, or you run yourself off the road. That would just be horrible. But that's probably the worst thing about Tourette's.
What has having Tourette's taught you as a person?
It's taught me to be strong. It's taught me to be very, very strong, because ever since I've gotten diagnosed with Tourette's, I've gone through people making fun of me. I've gone through missing weeks and weeks of school at a time and getting behind. And I've gone through having to watch my mom miss work. And financially it's hard, but you get through because you have the support of your family and your friends. And really, I don't worry about it a lot because I know that God will also take care of us and stuff. So that's definitely an up, definitely. And it's just taught me to look at life in a new way, because now being behind on the other side of getting made fun of and having people just look at you different, not wanting to be your friends because you're weird and you make noises and you move, it's just taught me to be a strong person.
Lastly, do you have any advice for people who are living with Tourette's?
Stay strong. Stay strong, because you'll be able to get through it. If I can go through it, being the weak person that I was before I was diagnosed, you can definitely make it through anything, because having Tourette's, it opens a lot of doors for you. It does a lot of doors. I mean, there's camps with Tourette's, like camps especially for people who have Tourette's. And there's camps just for disabled kids, and then there's support groups. And then also having Tourette's and seizures and dystonia, you can carry a dog with you wherever you go. That's an up also. I have a service dog, actually, and she makes living with Tourette's a lot easier, because when I'm having a bad day or my tics are out of control, I can get in the floor with her, and she'll lay in my lap and I'll pet her, or she'll lick me, or she'll just do stuff to make me laugh, because if you make me laugh and I'm ticking, I'll stop ticking because I'm less stressed. And she makes it easier to go out in public, because I don't have to worry about being uncomfortable without her, because usually I go out and I don't go by myself. I'm either with friends or with my mom. But now I can go out in public by myself with her, and now I get stares because people ask about service dogs and they ask about Tourette's. So that's just my opportunity to let people know about Tourette's. And so she brings a lot of opportunities as well. And service dogs are a great option if you have Tourette's and if you have seizures and things like that. They're a great, great alternative for people who have Tourette's. So once again, this is for anybody who knows people who can give me grants and scholarships, and even a few support groups ideas. That'd be great, 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 and great for my college application. Thank you.